Alright, so welcome to Biologger. It's a precision platformer game, so it's meant to be a little bit on the difficult side, meaning you need to, navigate the platforms in the game very specifically in order to kind of get to the end, and the world allows for a bit of some uh, some choices on where you can actually go. So there's 5 different worlds in the game, and in this demo, there's just one. But you can choose, which one of those planets you want to go to and do in which order you want to do it. And at the very end, once you complete all the 5 worlds, that's kind of what your end goal is. So the main way that you get around is you actually cannot jump, so you are stuck to the ground, except for where you aim and where you can click is where you go. So currently, this game is meant for mouse and keyboard. However, there is gamepad support as well as full keybind mapping that'll come at a later date. But for this demo, it's just mouse and keyboard. And if you have any interest in trying this demo, it is available now, so you can stop watching this stream and you can go play it now if you wanted to. Though I guess I'd like it if you stuck around for the actual demonstration of this game and the stream. So the whole idea is you go from room to room. Character's name is Spaceman, at least currently. I do need to rename him at some point. I gotta come up with a really cool, catchy name for him. And so here's our first obstacle. Well, we can't jump, so what are we gonna do? We're just gonna hook over that platform and kind of move along our way. So here we have our first checkpoint, and what a checkpoint will do is as we start getting into more of the difficult rooms, it'll bring us back to here if we happen to get ourselves into trouble. These little terminals here will let us know of all this information as we start going through the level and through the game. So what I meant by you can kind of go everywhere is, you can go up here, you can go up here. It doesn't, you can go in this corner, it doesn't really matter. As long as you have a line of sight to where you want to go, you can go there. And so you have a bit of freedom in choosing what you want to do and how you want to solve a problem in this game. And, this is our first hazard right here. They're hazardous spikes. They do look like fire, I admit. So, if you touch this, it's not going to be a good day for you. So we'll just hook right past it and we're good to go. So we'll keep moving onwards, and here's kind of our next area here. Now, what's nice about all of this is, you can kind of go up here and you can try weaving in between these 2 little sets of spikes. Or you can, and that might be the more difficult solution. You can just go right past it, or what you can even do is, as you're hooking, you're invincible. So I can go straight through these spikes, no problem. Only while I'm hooking, but if I try to walk into this, it's a no-go. So we'll continue onwards in this little tutorial area and see what we'll run into. So we got a bunch of these little humps here, not too hard to navigate through, but it does have you get used to some of these more situations where you have to use your hook. And this is just to let you know here that even though this looks like you can't get through, you can just hook through it, no problem. So even if you do some really tight corners here, you kind of just go where you need to go. So we have our first kind of vertical area right here. So there's arrows on the top of the screen indicating that you can hook beyond the limits of this area or level. And so what happens if you do that is you'll actually be shot up into the next area of the game. So there are several rooms like this where you need to have a quick reaction time in seeing what comes up ahead, because not always will you just fall leisurely back down to the previous room. Sometimes there could be something not good on the other side. So in this case, we just come up to this little pit area, and as you're falling, you actually you maintain your hook. So I can drop, and then I can hook, and as long as I don't use it before dropping, I'm okay. For example, I can hook here, and then, I can't hook anymore in the air. So you only regain your hook when you touch the ground, and hook preservation is another aspect of maintaining or being aware of your surroundings in the game. Another thing that's important is line of sight, because as previously mentioned, you can go kind of anywhere you want, but if you're going to be up against this wall and you want to try to get over these spikes, you're not going to have the best of luck of it. So kind of lining yourself up and figuring out the best areas to be situated in order to solve a problem is also kind of key to this. So this is the first teleporter room. Teleporters in this game will allow you to traverse between different planets or areas in the game, so you can kind of get around more easily and go back to your favorite parts of the game. So we just got our first one, so we can't actually teleport quite anywhere just yet. Here we have another room with the vertical hook aspect. Nice little thing to note here is that there's an H on the side, and then an I on the side over here, so that nicely spells hello to you, the player. So this is sort of the main branching area in the game. Currently in this demo, you can only go to the lower left portion of here. In the full game, there is some areas off to the top right and top left, or in bottom right here, which will access several of the worlds in the game. And there are 4 worlds currently. Like I said, there's 5 planned. 2 of them are completely completed. The third one is probably 80 to 85%, and the fourth one's maybe at 20% done. But the full game has access to this area, and those are currently blocked off right now in the demo. Now, I do have the link to the Discord. Actually, I do not have the link to the Discord. Now I have the link to the Discord on screen. And, if you navigate to that Discord, you can come talk to me now as I'm streaming, and you can ask questions and be involved in the stream. Otherwise, if you're part of the community, I will be giving out full copies of the game, which you can download today and have access to all of the worlds that I sort of just mentioned. And each one of the worlds come with different mechanics and different, things to do and things to collect in those worlds. So what we have here is our first creature. So these creatures in this game, they can be scanned. If you right-click, you have this little scanner that you bring out in front of you. And if you hold it on a creature, your scan meter will go up, and once you reach 100%, you will add it to your biolog. In the demo, there are 6 things here, and so right now I just scanned our dog, Pascal. So we have 1 out of 6 currently scanned. The biolog is always accessible from the main menu, so you can always go through and kind of check to see what your status is. So the goal for this demo would be to try getting all 6 of 6, or you can just go through and get to the very end and collect your, go to the end of the first world. And at the end of every world is a ship piece, and collecting those ship pieces will actually unlock new worlds, which I have not quite mentioned yet. We also have a fully working map for this demo, which is nice. I think I'm gonna get all that working together in time for this demo. And so you can see we're almost done with this first spaceship portion of the game, and then we'll be going on to our first world. This is probably one of the first quote-unquote hard areas of the room. You have to be pretty quick on that reaction to get over to that side. You probably have at least a second of lenience to kind of get to the end there. But some other rooms you may have only maybe a half second or less to kind of solve the puzzle, or to do your action to get through it. So moving onwards, we're kind of in our first room with a planet. And what's nice about these rooms is you can just hook to the surface of this planet and you'll be started on the first world. So we can read the description from the terminal, which will tell us a little bit about the world's mechanics before we actually go into it. And this says that, there are little orbs that you can collect, which will regain your hook in midair. So that'll add some complexity to our hooking that we've been doing. And there are also highly reflective surfaces, which will, reflect our hooks incident to the surface of that surface, I suppose. And that'll allow us to kind of have more interesting paths and hooking decisions. So we'll go to that world now, and I'm going to pause for 1 second just to check something out. Okay, and so Moving onwards into this is the first area of the game, or of the first world rather. And here's one of the little orbs that the terminal mentioned. And in case you get stuck here or confused, he'll just explain to you, again, what you're supposed to be doing here. So if I use my hook once, you know, I can't quite make it over to this ledge. And I also can't hook on the surface above that ledge because I'm just too short. So it seems like I'm stuck, but if I touch this orb, I suddenly regain my hook in the middle of the air, and I'm able to then go down to that surface. So that was kind of the first implementation of that orb, and this expands the mechanic just a little bit further. So you can now take this path, and with some quick skills, you can just clear this gap. Now, this kind of brings me to the speedrunning aspect of this game. So this was heavily designed to be speedrun friendly. So a lot of the tips and a lot of the actions that you can take will be faster or slower than others. And there's a lot of different ways to solve various different rooms, some of which are faster than others, and some of them may take some, you know, thinking to figure out how to do them. Another thing to note is that you walk at this constant speed. However, when you hook the ground, you actually do move at a slightly quicker pace, and so that gives you the option. Do I want to take it safe and just walk, or do I want to speed up and save a few seconds here and there to, you know, kind of you get a faster clear time at this game. So moving onwards, we can start just evolving this mechanic of the double hook a little bit more, kind of moving from area to area. And because you don't actually lose your hook when you drop off the sledge here, you can sort of store your hook a bit for later. So for example, I can drop off here, collect that orb, and then drop right back down. And that's a method of me kind of setting myself up to use that orb there. So this area has a branching path. You can see I can go up here in the top right, or I can just go off the right side of the screen in the bottom right. And you can see just how big this map is for this first world here. So I'll decide to go in the top right corner this time around. This path is probably the harder of the two. And we'll just continue along solving some of these puzzles. And it may look quite easy right now, but believe me, I have run through a lot of these worlds many times, so I sort of know all the solutions, and I've played with the game enough to know exactly what it takes to, or what all my movement is, and how to actually go through a lot of these worlds, but I still make mistakes like that right there. And, you know, as we're going along these rooms, we are still trying to find animals and add them to our biolog, which we still just have 1 of 6 so far. Speaking of animals, here's another one right now, and this one's a bit of a puzzle animal. So we can walk up to him, he doesn't harm us in any way, and we can scan him. But as soon as we get up to a certain amount, he kind of flies away, and we have no way of getting to him. As soon as we leave the room and come back, our scanner resets. However, if you press the R key, you kind of self-kill yourself and bring yourself back to this pedestal. So we'll try a few times to go around the alternate path to get to this other corner over here to actually scan the bird. And then we'll self-kill ourselves to get back to this side, and that'll complete the puzzle for this and get us the creature that we are trying to get. So we'll try this a couple times, and this can be quite difficult. I've observed some people playing this where this section alone can take them quite a bit of time due to how difficult it may be, but hopefully, given just how much I have played this game, I won't have any issues. And what's also to note, since you need to self-kill yourself in order to satisfy the bird puzzle, you can't actually collect any of these checkpoints along the way, so we have to make it through sort of, you know, a few rooms without dying, and kind of like what we did right there. So we'll give this a couple more tries, and if we can't do it, we can't do it. Just in order of, or in interest of time, rather. So a lot of these rooms can be played completely backwards, like the ones that we're seeing now. In some cases, they cannot be. And that's just meant those are generally designed decisions to do so. For example, the bird, you cannot backtrack, even though you can enter kind of that tunnel that you saw up above from either direction. So that way, once you commit to going up the top side, you're sort of going that way. Let's give this a couple more tries here. This room's probably the hardest of the this right side path, so if we can get past it, we should be good in shape. This room is also not terribly easy, but I have confidence we'll be able to get through. Okay, and we did. Alright, this should be the last room before we get to the bird. Oh, that almost ended in disaster. Alright, and we're back here. We just gotta be careful not to touch this pedestal on the right side. So we'll get up to 50%. Teleport or go back to this side, and then we'll be able to finish up the remaining scan percentage. So this bird is actually quite clever in that it tries to lure its prey into traps so that it can feed upon its victim. Its victim in this case is us. So let me pause for 1 second just to refresh one thing on my other monitor, and we'll get right back to it. This will be just one moment. Okay, so we'll continue onwards, and this time we'll take the top route. And so we're unable to go back down the other way, and we won't be able to complete the bird path that way. So this room kind of couples together a lot of bubbles or orbs, so we'll try to complete this, and we got it. There's a couple pathways here according to this map. I think this map piece is unlit. That's actually a bug for this demo build. It's fine. There's actually no sort of like completion related to this room. So that one is actually not collectible for now. And here we have another teleporter room. So we can activate it, and if we choose to, we can go back to the ship and, you know, explore the areas that we've already been to. Collect that pedestal if we felt like if we wanted to die, we can come back here. But we'll continue the grass planet, or this world. So some rooms may have more information that is actually needed. For example, there is a bubble in this room, though you may not actually need the bubble in this room, because you can actually just, you know, sort of drop and go to where you need to go. This is useful on the return trip, though, if you did want to go backwards. Oh, and since we died, we're back on the ship. Alright, so let's just go back to where we were. See if we can find any more animals to scan, and they're not always animals, sometimes they are plant. In our case, there's a flower over here that we would probably want to scan. However, this whole area looks quite a bit dangerous, so we can, you know, try our best and see if we can get it. May take a few tries, given you know, the ability of me or whoever is playing this game, and I was able to get it the first try, but I've done this quite a few times. So we'll just scan our flower now. And we get some information about it. It says that this plant is actually capable of locomotion. It typically tries to root itself in hard to find locations, or hard to get to locations to avoid predators. But we're not a predator, we're just here to biolog everything. Oh, so you gotta be a little bit reactionary to when you go to different screens. Could be some bad things on the other side. Alright, so this room is a little bit on the difficult side. You have maybe a quarter second of a reaction time to get through this little section down here. One thing to note in this area, though, is if you open up your if you look at your mini map, there's a, you know, there's an area down here that is not explored yet. If you also look at the screen, there's a little hole down here. So then we can ask ourselves, well, maybe if we go down there, there's something good to collect. And we can see that that area is also uncollected on our big map. So we'll see if we can go down there. Yeah, so like I said, there's only a few frames of reaction time in order to collect this bubble down here. Not a few frames, I'm sorry. It's more like probably like a quarter second or so. So this can still take me a few tries. Although I think yesterday when I did this stream, I got it much faster than I have so far. Alright, so there we go. So there's another animal down here. This one is okay to touch. Most animals are. There are some animals in the game that are, you know, less friendly to you if you try to go up and scan them. So we'll just go through and try to scan this guy. He's trying to avoid us a little bit. Alright, so now that we have him scanned here, it says that he builds giant holes in the ground and pokes his head above them. It says that he has a very muscular body, but he's very shy about his immaculate form, and so he tries to hide. So we'll continue on our adventure. But this time we'll take the rightmost route. Alright, so because there's no checkpoint in this room, we want to be sure to be extra careful as to not to fail this room, because otherwise we're going to have to do that previous room again. Alright, we cleared it first time. So this room is a bit of a change of pace. We see some walls here. That could be an indication of kind of, you know, where we're going next. These irregular shapes might be a little bit confusing to navigate the first time, but we can make it through. Alright, so now we kind of get to this area here. So we'll try our best to kind of get through here, but you need some quick reaction skills in order to get through here. Oh, and that one was quite close. So you may notice that, like, okay, it's sort of lined up where I need to go to this one, and then this one, and then this one. However, you know, if you try to look at all your options, you might even be able to do something like this. And you can. But if you really wanted to try doing it a more difficult way, you still can. So here we kind of we're on some sort of crossroads or drawbridge of sorts. And as it turns out, we're actually inside of a castle now. So if you remember the terminal earlier, it referred to a highly reflective surface. So let's take a look at this. And what you can see that it does is we try hooking it, and it actually completely reflects us. So even though we can't get to this top left portion over here, because we just simply can't get line of sight or an angle for it, we can use this reflective surface to kind of get us there. So I'm going to pause for 1 second and take a look at something. Okay, so moving on, we get to this area, and you see that there's a mirror up here, and there's a couple ways to go. We can go to the right, we can go top, we can go left, according to the mini-map. And let's say we want to go to the top left. Well, you know, there doesn't seem to be a way that we do it, so maybe we go up here and we try using the mirror to angle ourselves. Unfortunately for us, it just doesn't look like our line of sight or our angle is kind of set up enough for us to be able to get to that top left side. So try as we might not be able to get there yet. So let's try going to the right and see what solutions we can come up with later. These mirrors do work together, so they can reflect more than once. In fact, they can reflect many times. So let's see if we can figure out what the correct solution here is. It looks like this one goes towards that one. Oh, and look at that. In fact, we can reflect as many times as we want. See how many I can possibly get. Not sure how many that is, but it seems to be the maximum for this little area here. It almost looked like I was jumping, but unfortunately this guy cannot jump. So now that we're back here, we actually do have the angle this time around to kind of get to this platform over here that we had tried to get to before. So it's a little bit of a nice view in this room. We got some grassy plains that we can see off in the distance. We got a mirror down here as well as this platform, so maybe we need to fall and try hooking. Oh, not quite. Let's try again. Alright, we got through that area. So now that we're here, we see a bubble up here, or an orb, I suppose. And so now we're combining these two different mechanics and seeing if we can navigate the game a bit further. So of the people who have completed this demo, I've seen quite a different range in times of completion. I've seen, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, but I've also seen upwards of 3 hours. So, it really depends on your skill, or on an individual skill, to see how quickly they can beat this game. So I cannot stress enough that, this is very, very speedrun heavy. Or focused, rather, I should say. So in this room, if we're just not quick enough, we may wind up in a not-so-great situation. And there's also an animal up there, so maybe we need to explore a bit to see how to get him. Can we go up here? Can we try and land on this platform right up there? Maybe we need to use the bubble in some way? Doesn't seem like that's the right solution. So let's try moving along this this pathway to further rooms, because it looks like we should be able to get back to an adjacent room to access this animal at a later time, it looks like, according to the map. So this room has a bunch of mirrors, and we can play around a little bit here to see, what really works here. It seems like a lot of these are just sending us back. Oh, but this one makes sense. So if we remember before, that little animal that was crawling around was actually in the room just south of us. Conveniently, there is a southern opening right here. So how do we get down there? We can hook this surface on the bottom corners of these, or on the bottom sections of these pillars. So if we're careful enough and we're fast enough, we might be able to actually hook those bottom portions. I am again going to pause for 1 second. Alright, so we'll continue. Let's try and get that thing down there, or that creature down there. And at any point of the stream, or at any point if you're watching the video replay of the stream and want to join the Discord, please please go to that link. We will at some point be giving out full versions of the game for you to try and play. So here's that animal. We'll scan it up to 100%, and here's some information about it. Alright, so we will move onwards to the following rooms. And what we have here is kind of our first rotating mirror. So you gotta be extra careful about how you hook in order to get these. So they can rotate discretely, or they can rotate continuously. These kind of rotate in kind of blocky intervals, as you can see. So if you line up your shots, you can kind of wait until everything lines up so you can go to the next area. This next area has, you gotta figure out, exactly what you want to hook here. Do you... Oh, that's another solution for you. So that's something that speedrunners can do. Otherwise, the correct solution, or I guess the intended solution, is to use these mirrors and wait for them to line up so that you can continue onwards in your journey. So this room can be very difficult. I've seen people get stuck here for 10 minutes themselves. So we'll try to line everything up here, and oh, look at that. We got it our first try. Something strange happened there. I'm pretty sure that was a bug. We weren't able to actually continue to the next room. So we're gonna have to look into that and fix it, and do this room again. So maybe it didn't take the first try. It took 2 tries, I suppose. But we got it that time. All right, so moving onwards. Okay, that time we didn't have any issues. So try to figure out what the correct solution for this room is. Looks like you can do it on this top one. This top little notch over here. Looks like you can do it on that one. But yeah, it looks like you can use any one of these little notches to go to the next area. Seemed like the top one was the best one, so we'll try that. Although what's bad about the top one is if we're late, we're kind of just going to hit that pillar right there and wind up going downwards. And we don't want to go downwards. We want to go to the right. So let's try to line this up. Oh, yeah, looks like we have a few frames to kind of work this through. Oh, okay, looks like we got it. Is one of the rooms where we can move upwards, so we will hook upwards. So let's take a good look at this room. Looks like there's a mirror and some spikes over there. Okay. Oh, but looks like there was something waiting for us on the way down. So we got to remember what's in the next room before we try to, celebrate on our victory in the previous one. So I like to call this room the Hall of Mirrors. There's many rooms in a interesting looking pattern. So we can play with the geometry here, the simple geometry, and see what one sort of interesting pattern we can come up with. So this one's quite interesting. We kind of go off to the right for a little bit, only to make our way back to the beginning. This one looks like your hook kind of combines a little bit. This one does an interesting kind of almost figure 8 pattern. So you can mess around with these rooms, or you can just go to the end here. So here we have another one of these kinds of rooms. So you can try and see just how many times you can actually hook. Oh, this is interesting. If we do this one, we sort of go all over the place. And then we go back out to the other room. Almost go back out to the other room. Actually, we would not be able to return here. That's definitely a bug. Oh, look at this one. That one doesn't look too great. Oh, man. Yeah, you go all over the place in this one. This might take a few seconds. Interesting. Alright, so now we'll continue onwards. So this one's a circle shape, so we can come up with all sorts of different patterns, or we can come up whichever one's the fastest solution. We do want to go fast for speedrunning's sake, but you can also come up with some interesting things here. Like whatever this is, which is a bunch of different pentagons. You can watch them go zipping around all day long if you wanted to. Alright, so going onwards. We're back to a more traditional room, I'll say. And I will pause for 1 second here. Alright, so we're back. Had a little bit of trouble there. A little bit of trouble there, too. Oh, just a little bit of trouble there as well. Alright, so this is another room that gives you a little bit more information than is necessary. So you may think, okay, well, what am I going to do with this mirror? But what you can actually do is just sort of walk off, and you're kind of good to go. So checking our biolog, we'll notice that there's still one that we're missing, so we should be around here somewhere, considering we've visited most areas in this world. So we should be running into him sometime soon. Oh, bit of a problem there. Alright, so this sort of enters the final chapter of this world. So these upcoming areas are all kind of linked together and a little bit more on the difficult side. However, if you check your surroundings, you can make things a little bit easier for yourself. So we'll see how far we can get here. So not quite that time. Not quite that time either. Ah, almost. Almost had something. Okay, so we've grounded ourselves on this little platform here. However, these arrows are telling us to go up to the top. So we can go up, and we think that that should be the end of the level. But there is one room over here off to the left that we haven't really explored yet. So let's go check it out. So it seems to be another creature. He doesn't look too friendly though, because he's got a giant axe. So this is one of the enemies, or not enemies rather. This is one of the creatures in the game that, you know, it's not safe to approach. You want to try avoiding him and then hooking or scanning him. Only when you're close to him, when he's not, you know, posing a threat to you. So we'll try to make it back to him and try being more careful next time. Though we seem to be having some problems with this room. Yes, a lot of problems with this room. This is another method to get through it. You have to make sure you get the bubble though. So there are multiple ways to solve these rooms. And you can also do this. So you can get around quite quickly. Or rather, with safer routes. Alright, so now we'll try poking past him. I can't though, so maybe I just need to bait out his attack. And I can do that. And he's going to walk back to his little spawn point there, but we'll scan him on his way back. So here he is again. He's going to walk towards us and swing at us. And during all of this, he seems to be, our scanner seems to be decaying a bit. So we do want to not be too careful, otherwise we're, you know, going to pay the price in terms of our scan percentage. So each one of the worlds does have one of these boss creatures. He doesn't seem to be swinging at us, so this is an attack where he tries to corner you, but you can use these mirrors to kind of get out of the way. So if he does start marching towards you, you might be a little scared or daunted, but you know, if you be cool, you might be able to avoid him. Oh, that was interesting. He seemed to not want to turn around right there. Oh no, we accidentally walked into him. Alright, so we gotta try that again. Alright, so here he is. He's gonna swing at us. And he's gonna walk back. Now, he also will, after failing to get you a few times, will start to swing at you multiple times. So you gotta be careful, and if you're only expecting him to attack you once, he may do it more times. He'll He'll switch things up a bit. And he will also do his attack where he tries to corner you. Which is what it appears he's doing now. So he tried to corner us there, but we got away from him. Alright, so here he is. Looks like he's trying to attack us twice this time. He should be spawning out of this one. And interesting, so I know the pattern in which he attacks because it is predetermined. There is no randomness in how he attacks. He always attacks in the same pattern. And this is to reduce or to remove RNG from the game. So with no RNG, it kind of also adds to the speedrun ability of this game. Meaning you always know what order he's going to come out in, so you can route yourself in order to clear it as quickly as possible. So it looks like we only need to scan him a little bit more, so we'll try and get him this time around. So this whole creature can be scanned much faster than this. I'm sort of taking it slow and steady. And so we scanned him and we got some information about him. So now we have 6 of 6 in our biolog, and that completes all the creatures in the demo. Each world has 5 creatures, so in the final game there will be 30 or more creatures to scan. There may be some super secret ones that you have to find. So now we'll continue onwards. We'll go up top. So there's a lot of information in this room, and so we can just keep trying to absorb it and take it in. So it looks like we want to go to the right there. Ah, that was very close. That was not as close, but still relatively close. Almost. Here, we'll try some more of the speedrun strats. Oh, not quite. Not quite. You can get this. There you go. Oh no. Alright, so we'll go through this. We can take the safe route by going down here and then going up here. And looks like we do want to go to the right here. Oh man. So there's a lot of bubbles in this room. What's nice about that is, you know, you can kind of go crazy with the hooking as many or as few times as you want. I actually very much like this bubble / orb mechanic. I do want to explore it a bit more. This planet or world is really only 50 rooms. Well, a little bit more than 50 rooms. So it could be nice to, you know, revisit this at some point and, you know, expand upon it a little bit. Maybe add it as a something that shows up in every world, but I don't know. The third world actually doesn't have it at all, and the first world also doesn't have it as all, but the first world is a tutorial world. Alright, so what you just saw me do in the previous room was actually a nice little speedrun strat, in that you don't need to do quite everything in that room. So what we have here is our first ship piece. Collecting the ship pieces does allow you to unlock more worlds in the full game. In the demo, this here kind of signifies the end of the game. So if we collect it, it'll tell us our score, and by score I mean how long we've spent. It'll tell us how many creatures we have biologged. And it looks like this time around it took us 34 minutes and 16 seconds. So I think when I try beating this as quickly as possible with all 6 out of 6 creatures scanned, I think I did it in just over 20 minutes. So this was a little bit slower for commentary's sake. But, you know, you can always try going through and beating each other's scores or beating my score. In the Discord, I actually do have a link to the screenshot of my fastest time. So feel free to go through and try to beat my score. I would very much love for someone to beat my score because it gives me an opportunity to go through and try to beat yours. So I will alt tab for 1 second. Check up on a few things. Okay. Alright, so we will move onwards. And this appears to be the final room in the game. Again, we don't quite have this area here, but that's just a bug in this demo build that I probably should fix. We do have a teleporter here, and so we can go back to our spaceship. And now that we're here, we can go to the next world. But that's sort of the end of the demo. So you can go back through, and you can go back to the grass world and play through it again as many times as you like, but that ship piece actually does not respawn. So, you know, you've collected it, and I guess really that's sort of the end of the game, at least the end of this demo. So it took me the 34 minutes, though. I really would like to see how long it takes everybody else. So I'm just making my way back to the grass planet, and now we can go through it once again if we had wanted to. So something that I want to point out is I do have a official Biologger Twitter, which is posted in the Discord. So if you go to the Discord, there is a link to that. I would appreciate a follow. I think it's kind of important because at this moment I really only have 3. And that's kind of where I'm going to be posting news about, you know, the development, posting screenshots and such. I'm also going to be doing that on the Steam page as well, so if you wish listed, you should be getting some of that information as well. I'm also giving out full copies of the game, you know, on the Discord. So if you do want to be a beta tester and play the full game right now, you can be. You just need to come to the Discord and just start posting with the community. I'm hoping to expand that the Discord as well. So I do also have plans on making like a Facebook group page, but I haven't quite decided if I really need or want to do that quite yet. So since we still have some time here, I'll try going through this level kind of as quickly as I can, just to show you guys just how quickly you can move through this game. So you can go quite fast when you're doing it in a speedrun motion, and like I said, you know, even hooking the floor is faster than just walking on the floor. So when I get an opportunity to do that, I will be showcasing it. Oh, get that for safety. A safety save, as they say in the speedrunning community. I very much am a fan of speedrunning myself, which is why I've always I don't really speedrun anything myself. Maybe I'll speedrun in this game, but it's always been impressive to me how people move through these games. So see, if I hook the floor there, I do go slightly faster, so that's beneficial for me to do so. And so what took me so long before, I'm kind of just flying through now, since I'm trying to go as quickly as possible. This room is very difficult. Let's see if I can do it first try. Alright, nice, first try. Then we'll do the quicker route this time, because we're trying to go as quickly as possible. And we're already back at the castle, and it's probably been only a few minutes. So that's not to say that this game has little content. I assure you it does not. But if you know, try and go as quickly as you can, and if you practice a lot, and believe me, I've practiced a lot because, you know, I play test it all the time. I'm able to kind of get through very quickly. I'm also going a little faster, you know, through this time because I'm basically doing an any percent right now because I'm not actually scanning any of the creatures. but 100% would have all the creatures scanned. So I'd be taking a pit stop to scan that guy. Oh, that was an interesting geometry that came out of that. Yeah, so we're just sort of flying through right now. Oh, almost got the angle there. Okay. We'll do the speedrun strat where we can kind of just go on this top right. This room can still be quite hard, even if you're trying to do it fast. I will self-kill myself there, just in the interest of speed's sake. Speedrun strat would be that you don't even actually need to use the mirror in this case. So many solutions to these problems if you're trying to think about them. And you can even minimize the amount of times that you need to hook in these multi-mirror areas. Like this one seems like it has very few bounces, or reflections, I'll say. Generally you get few reflections when you try to keep that angle as small as possible. Or I guess as wide as possible, really. I would very much love to see this game speedrun. That might make me shed a tear of joy to see something, to see some, for me, the game that I have worked on and enjoy so much to be speedrunned, and as someone who enjoys speedruns so much, to, I don't know, the marrying of the two would make me very happy, and it would do my heart probably a lot of good. So I didn't quite make that one. Oh, interesting. Okay, so if you self-kill yourself while you're hooking, you get stuck in this animation until you probably rehook. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Is that 100% reproducible? It 100% is. Alright, so we're already back at the gauntlet. And we made it back to the end of the grass planet, and that only took us a extremely short amount of time to do that. Let's see, how long was that? That was probably, I don't know, 5 minutes or so? Unfortunately, because I have the ship piece, I don't actually get to see how long that took me. So let's actually do this. Let's try to do an any percent speedrun right now. So I will clear the save data, which you can only do that from the menu screen. And currently there is no way. Currently there is no way to return to the main menu, unfortunately, in the demo. You know, a lot of these things you get the program and write code for, and I guess I just didn't have the time to do so. So we're going to try speedrunning this as quickly as possible. We've already wasted like 20 seconds doing that whole section. I know we just went through the grass planet, but hey, this time we'll do it again and in any percent fashion, and we'll actually have a timer at the end of the game that'll give us a real in-game time for how long we spent. It goes down to the fidelity of seconds, but you know, maybe for the full game I'll have it go down to milliseconds or something, and then break it down on a per world basis. The kind of victory screen that's set up currently in this demo is, you know, very temporary. That's just to kind of give an official time in some sort of capacity. So we're just kind of cruising through this right now. I just lost some time there because I didn't hug that left wall, but that's just how speedrunning goes. Much faster to hook than it is to walk. Oh, that wasn't great. Oh no, look at all this time lost because I didn't touch a checkpoint along the way, even though there are some. That was interesting, like this one. Oh, I did not mean to activate that. Alright, that time we were able to do it. back at the grass planet once more. We'll try to beat this as quickly as possible and see what our score is. Yeah, so, as I'm going through this, I do want to reiterate that the Discord is on the screen right now, so feel free to check it out. I would very much love to have more people playing the game, more people playing the full game, because this is only the demo. This is only a fraction of the full game as it is currently. So, the more people who are playing the game and speedrunning, I think the more interesting the speedrunning will be. So if you are a speedrunner, and would like access to the full game, by all means, I would be glad to provide a full key of the game. As well, if you're just interested in discovering bugs, playing the game, and being a big part of the community. Let me get the teleporter down here. We'll also be giving out full keys in the game for those as well. So if you want to be part of the development, as far as like beta testing goes and be added to the credits at the end of the game, just go to Discord, reach out to me. I'll be on there. I'm the server owner, so I should be easy to find. And so any interest at all, just head on over and ask any questions. Post your screenshots for your best time, anything at all. And then I also do have that Twitter page, and this room is very difficult when I'm kind of going off on a tangent, talking about all the social media and whatnot. So I do have a Twitter as well. I don't generally use Twitter at all, but I figure in this case I'm probably going to want a Twitter page. So the Twitter handle is @BiologgerGame. So if you have any interest in following it and seeing any development updates, any information about kind of where the game's at and where it's going, and information on when we're giving out demo keys and beta keys, information should be out there as well. Screenshots of the game, new videos, that'll all be coming out as well. It's also a YouTube channel. The only thing on there right now is just the trailer. But this video recording will go up there as well, assuming this video capture has been going well. According to the streaming software, it has been recording, so that's good. So that'll be going on there as well, so you can check back this VOD and you can hear me ramble constantly about the game as I've been doing. You can watch me do my live speedrun of any percent here of the demo, any percent demo version, I suppose. There's no official speedrun.com I guess scoreboards for this. I don't know what it would take to make that. I would like that to be a thing. So, I don't know. That might be worth pursuing. See if I can kind of get that set up. So yeah, if you check out those social media accounts, you'll have all sorts of opportunities to play the full game, play an updated demo as it comes out, and just be part of the community, which I would absolutely love. Can't seem to get the angle right here. This should work. Okay, there we go. Oh, not quite. That should do it. Oh, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Oh, not quite. Yeah, there's the hooking glitch. Hook glitch, as I call it, but that's fine. Only discovered it during the stream. Having lots of trouble with this room right now. I'm gonna be losing a lot of time. Oh yeah, losing lots of time on this room, but that's fine. As it is with speedrunning, I suppose. All the real speedrunners out there probably know all sorts of woes related to that, but yeah, I guess as far as the timeline for this game, it's been in development for a couple years, probably a few years is more realistic. But I've been kind of developing it in my free time because I do have a full-time job, so unfortunately that eats into the development of this game. I do very much enjoy working on this game. It's a lot of fun. you know, making, coding the new mechanics, doing the art, getting the music, playtesting, and the level design. So that was interesting, kind of just stand there. So it's a passion project, and I'm not. So it will be finished eventually. I'm hoping for 2020. If you have any suggestions or bug reports, that is available on the Discord, and on the Discord you can also make some level design suggestions as well. If you have an idea for a room that you would like or a good idea for this whole castle world, if you wanted to see a room that looked a specific way or that utilized these orbs and mirrors in a specific way, I mean, that can be added to the game. I can, add a new room. I can replace a room. Probably wouldn't replace a room. I can add a new room that kind of has that new mechanic in it, because I'm sure everyone has all sorts of good ideas on what they would like to see coming out of this game. I think my other run, back when I didn't have the timing up, was probably faster than this one, because I seem to be making many mistakes in these rooms. I think I need to be getting closer to the wall here. There we go. Oh no, almost. There we go. So yeah, any suggestions at all I'd love to have them over at the official Discord. Almost. We'll do it this way. This is a little bit more of a reliable for a speedrun. It's probably not faster though. Alright, so we'll see what our time here is. Should hopefully be less than 10 minutes. 8 minutes, 18 seconds. So yeah. This is any percent because our biolog is 0 out of 6. Strange. There might be some sort of bug here. I can't actually select the biolog. I wonder if that's just that room. Strange. Okay, that's probably got to be fixed. So yeah, our biolog is empty. Our map isn't complete, so I wouldn't say that that's probably 100%. Though map percentage doesn't actually play into it. Okay, so I think that should be the end of the stream. That kind of goes over the game in a nutshell. So hopefully you all enjoyed. We certainly did get, quite a few viewers during a portion of it, so that's good. So I appreciate the attention, and appreciate the support of the game. So it'll be developed over time, and yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll be able to watch this back, because it has been recorded this whole time. So thank you very much for joining me. Thanks. Bye.